How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. So Drop, formerly Mass Drop, recently sent over one of their new keyboards for us to take a look at, and it's something a bit different, as you guys can see. So this is the Drop ENTR, so one of their newer keyboards. They kind of have the Shift and a bunch of other ones, and it is a pre-built 10 keyless keyboard designed to give you more of that feeling of an enthusiast-grade keyboard, but at a fraction of the price. Recently, we have been seeing more and more people designing and building their own mechanical keyboards to spice it up a bit more and get something that's more unique to them. And I also think this is where the ENTR and some of the other keyboards from Drop comes into play, because they're not your average gaming keyboard that you see. This is a lot different and it feels very premium as well. But again, at a fraction of the price. So then, talking about pricing, the Drop ENTR is only available on Drop's website, which is currently retailing for around $90, which is definitely not bad. It also comes in two different switch options and also three different color options. You get the full black, the silver and white, or like the one we have here, which is their green option. It kind of has a green tint to it, but also two different gray keycaps, which does make it look a bit different as well. I honestly do really like that. Now, Drop decided to go with a very simplistic but solid design, and I do mean a solid. Going with a rounded anodized aluminum body with a plastic top plate, Drop did make sure that there was absolutely no flex to this keyboard at all. It's built like a tank. This does also make the keyboard quite a bit heavier though, coming in at around 1 kilogram or 2 pounds in total. The overall build quality definitely makes this keyboard feel like it should cost a lot more, and that's the nice thing about a Drop. Now, taking a quick look underneath the keyboard, this is the first and only time you'll actually see the Drop logo with the branding kind of larger in the center. There are also two rubber anti-slip pads in the bottom corners, and then we'll also get the flip-out keyboard feet. Now, we definitely recommend you using the flip-out keyboard feet because of the rubber pads. They do add more grip, and if it's collapsed down, it doesn't really make that much contact on your table, so it will slide around a bit more. So just keep that in mind. Then also, the keyboard comes with a pretty standard non-braided 1.8 meter USB type A to type C cable that is also fully detachable, which I honestly do love. But any USB Type-C cable will of course work, and they're also easy to swap around, or if let's say your dog or cat accidentally damages or eats your cable, then you can luckily replace it quite easily. So that has happened to me quite a few times, so that's nice. Now, as for the individual keycaps, they are pretty thick wool double shot PBT plastic with a slight matte texture finish that definitely feels well made. It's also worth mentioning that the ENTR has a standard bottom row in case you wanted to swap out those keys with some custom keycaps later. Now, for some of the people more used to the standard gaming keyboards, the keycaps do feel a lot more premium. Like I said before, just the plastic that's being used, the PBT, is much higher quality, so you do get a more solid key press with not that much a wobble. It just feels more premium, and once you've actually used these, everything else kind of feels a bit cheap. Then next up, the Drop ENTR does come with two PCB mounted switch options, which means unfortunately you're not able to hot swap or swap out your switches yourself. They are available in either the linear Gateron yellows or the Drop Halo Trues, which currently we have here. The Halo Trues are tactile switches, which is completely different to any other tactile switch that I've honestly used before. The feeling is completely different. It kind of has a combination of linear and tactile at the same time, so they are a bit different. Now, they do have an actuation force of 54 grams, which is a bit more than the standard reds or blues, with a 4mm total travel distance and a very high 100 grams of bottom out force, giving them an almost cushioning feel to them when bottoming out. The switches do have their tactile bump right at the beginning of the key press, and it doesn't really need that much pressure until you actuate at 1.9 millimeters. They even start getting stiffer the more you go down. Now they do feel great for typing in all honest opinion, and they do feel pretty good for gaming as well, but I do feel that they're more meant for typing or some productivity work instead of gaming. They do work for gaming, but because of the more force needed, they're not as quick to press. Now as for how they sound, they are a bit more quieter than the Cherry MX Red switches, with a more of an audible click both when bottoming out and releasing the switch. But here's just a quick sound test of how the Halo Trues sound, and also just comparing it with some of the other switches. Now, some interesting information regarding these switches is that a lot of people actually take out the stems from the Halo True switches and rebuild them inside the housing of the INVYR Panda switches. So they're making it the Holy Panda switches. So it's one of the more popular Frankenstein switch options for custom keyboards in the custom keyboard community. So they're quite expensive because you need to Frankenstein two switches together, but apparently they're really good. Hopefully one day we can try them out, but we'll leave this one as it is for now because it's honestly too good to take apart. So it's safe. Then moving on to the software, the Drop does not have any additional software that you need to go download. Instead, everything comes pre-programmed with secondary functions like your Windows shortcuts, your full media controls, and also your backlight adjustments, which is everything built in. Now then, moving on to lighting, this is where Drop made a bit of an interesting call. So there's no RGB lighting here. That will of course help with lowering the price point and then being able to put more money into the build quality and how good the keyboard feels. But instead, they actually went with white, which they said on their website it's white, but it actually has more of a yellow tone to it. I mean, it is definitely going to help you if you are trying to type in the dark, but it doesn't look like a pure white. Now, I will say that on the green model that we have here, that it actually looks quite interesting. I almost like it. But if you want to go for the black version or the white version, it doesn't look the best from the pictures that we've seen, because yeah, it's an off-white almost there. So it's going to depend up to what you personally like. I like it for this keyboard, but not necessarily on the white or the black version. So it's up to you what you personally want, but it looks good on this one. So then in conclusion, the Drop is not what we were actually used to here on the channel. We usually take a more look at the gaming keyboard and not really a lot at the enthusiast keyboard. Again, I've taken a look at some of the Ducky keyboards, but this is the first one from Drop. I'm not disappointed at all. It doesn't have any of the RGB weird gimmicks and other features, which I'm totally fine with, because writing our scripts on this keyboard, it felt so good. Now, even though you can still game on the keyboard, Drop designed it more for productivity almost, or if you're a writer or even a video editor or so on, where you want a bit more of a simplistic design with your more stylish, non-gaming setup. And I think that is where the keyboard actually comes into play. Maybe people with Macs or so on, that's going to work very nice for their setup. I know a lot of other people are using the Drop keyboards with their Macs, and it honestly looks really good in my opinion. Now again, it's a bit closer to more of a custom keyboard than the standard gaming keyboards that we get, the standard mechanical keyboards, and I think think it just fits perfectly right there. It's not too expensive compared to the other custom built keyboards. They can get super pricey, and I think this falls right in the middle between a price and also a proper quality. So I'm honestly digging this keyboard. The switches are great, the build quality is great, the price isn't bad at all. So nice job, Drop. So that's pretty much it for our look at the Enter from Drop. Honestly, a really good keyboard. Again, if you guys want to get it for yourself, definitely check out the link in the video description where you can get it on their website. They do have just a bunch of other stuff there as well. So definitely check that out. If you did like this review, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. And I'll check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.